Hi everybody, welcome to Lesson 3. This is the first learning block of Lesson 3, and we're going to talk about continuous quality improvement. This is a really important concept, and we're going to introduce it a little bit here with more depth than we brought it into Head Start Data Basics. This is really important because it's the foundation for a lot of work that's going to be used in Head Start programs, in which data is used to inform changes in programs and how you can evaluate whether those changes are doing what you want. So you can both identify changes you're going to make and then see if you got the outcome that you wanted. So to go back to Head Start Data Basics, quality improvement is making programs better through lots of small changes. This is a key idea here, not a revolution, not, oh, I've got this one thing I'm going to change and everything will be better. It's lots of little changes that will make your programs better overall. Continuous quality improvement is an approach to management that focuses on making many small changes to promote improved outcomes. The idea here is lots of little changes will add up over time to really be much better for a program overall than if you tried revolutions all the time. So the idea here too is that people at all different levels of the organization can contribute. It can be a change in classrooms. It can be a change in a survey that goes out to parents. Anything can be there. But the key is that it's an ongoing process that is going to continue over time. These small changes don't have to be radical. They're allowed to be small, but you do evaluate them to make sure that they're working. The cool part here is because they can come from anywhere, the suggestions for these small changes can come from anywhere, it engages stakeholders in a much broader sense than what people typically would think of. Also, the cool part about this is what you do today informs what's going on tomorrow. If you have a successful program today, can it be expanded? Can the logic, can the practice be applied someplace else? This is a big part of this process. You can make things better. And when I say you, the nice part about this is if it's done right, it's inclusive, not just the executive director who's got the latest best practice, but everybody in an organization can contribute. But you have to think clearly about the process. And that includes people who are entry-level folks who are saying, I'd like to make things better, but they have to think about, okay, well, how would that be? Am I doing something that, it's not that it doesn't work, but it could be better. And how would I make it better? There's a very, very commonly used image that comes along with this idea of continuous quality improvement. This is the PDSA, which the letters stand for Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle. I put this image here to show that it's a cycle that never stops. Plan, do, study, act. I've acted, this informs the creation of the next plan in which we then go through the cycle again. It goes on and on and on into the future. All of what you are doing today is the foundation of this much, much broader process that you're going to see in the future. The key here is that you're really constantly, culturally engaged in this desire to make things better and thinking about it systematically as you do it. So when we think about quality improvement, one of the key concepts here is I've got to be able to evaluate my change. I've made a small change. Did it do what I want it to do? Well, we cannot improve what we cannot measure because we have to have some way to tell whether things got better. Whether that measurement is a number or whether it's more qualitative, where you're asking people kind of, how do you feel? Did this work? It depends. It can be either one, but you can't improve what you can't measure. And so data measures outcomes and becomes one of the things you can use to examine whether or not this plan, do, study, act cycle is leading to the outcomes that you want. Data informs your improvement process. I'm measuring these outcomes. What I'm seeing with my measurement informs whether or not I'm actually doing what I want to do. But it rests on a foundation of quality. If the data is quality data, it gives you good information. If it's not quality data, it doesn't help you actually make these decisions. CQI is vital in Head Start with the 2016 Program Performance Standards. You have to demonstrate the practice of CQI. It's not enough to just come in during a review or in your grant application to say, oh, we practice CQI. You have to be able to show how you do it. You have to be able to tell the story of your projects. You also have to demonstrate that it's part of the culture of change in your organization. Do you have mechanisms for people throughout the organization, stakeholders across the board? Do you have the mechanisms for them to participate? And is it practiced not just in this one group, which is really good at it, but across the organization as a whole? Now, there's a lot of things that come with this that are important that we'll talk about later when I talk about reviews. But one of the big things you want to think about here is, what does this look like as an organization? How do you practice this? You can't just do it in one phase of your evaluation as a recipient. You have to be able to do it in your reviews, in your grant applications. It has to appear in your self-assessment. It should be everywhere. Quality improvement should be embedded in everything you do because it's part of that developing culture. So CQI is a very different way of approaching making programs better. Data is a key part of it because we have to be able to measure what it is we're trying to improve. And in our reviews, in our self-assessment, in our grant applications, we have to be able to say, we are practicing quality improvement, and let me tell you the story of what this looks like. We're going to have some examples that get into this a little bit in this course, but they're going to touch upon how some of this plays out in practice. But it's going to look different in every single program, and what you pick as your projects to build your continuous quality improvement around, it's going to be individual and specific to you and to your organization. But it's not an option to do this or not do this. You have to practice continuous quality improvement. It has to be part of the core of what you do if you want to keep your funding.